So when ship rolls, the compass remains horizontal, but due to gimbal, but the forces uh, the forces
They
which are acting the
obtain
ship's
an
magnet.
orientation.
Yes, sir.
They obtain an orientation, but the gimbal remains same. If this was the case, there is, let us say, blue pole here, the gimbal compass ka will become like this. Otherwise, it would have been here in the center. Now it has gone to this side. So the blue pole has shifted to this side, high side.
Yes, sir.
If
Port
we
side.
see the heel, this is the low side, what we call. This is the high side, what we call. So the blue pole has shifted to this. The red end, the forward end of the compass needle, has got a force here, which is to the high side, and it will attract the card, and the deviation will be caused in this direction on the high side. If this was the red pole, where is the red? If this was the red pole here, then in this case, this will cause the deviation on the other side. Directly below, it would not have created that problem. But since it has now shifted to one side, the red and red will interact and it will be pushed to this side. So in the red case, the deviation is to the low, and in blue case, the deviation is to the high side. So if we make the diagram for this, so what are the reasons that we can have this situation? Here. What are the reasons that we can have the situation like this? Of course, we know that the permanent magnetism of the ship has got three orientations: a forward aft component, which we called the P force, and there is athwartship, which we call the Q force, and if we see from the side, there is a vertical force which we called R. So this is permanent magnetism factor which can cause this. But apart from that, there are so many of soft irons also, vertical soft iron below the compass, like pillars, which can magnetism, induced magnetism will also be there, which induction will be happening because of the Z component of the Earth's magnetic field. Supposing the ship is in northern hemisphere, the vertical iron, soft iron, will acquire a polarity. Can you tell me, please, which side should be blue, which side should be red in this case, if the ship is in north hemisphere?
The vertical iron will acquire blue pole on the top and red in the bottom.
Blue here, red here. Looks okay to me. Can somebody explain why? Not Mohit, somebody else. Can somebody explain this? Why will it happen if not in north hemisphere, the top end will be blue, the bottom end will be red? Looks like okay to me, but can somebody explain? In the northern hemisphere, the magnetic lines of forces are dipping inside. That means they are at an angle like this. The total force is like this, which when resolved in Z and H will be like this. So basically, this is the blue pole. As we know, Earth का blue pole is here, red is here. तो blue के तरफ red बनता है. तो यहाँ पे चूंकि नीचे जा रहा है, तो blue की तरफ red, नीचे वाला red बनेगा और ऊपर वाला blue बनेगा. So, good Mohit. So in this case, with the blue pole on top in northern hemisphere, as we said, when the ship is upright, there is no effect on the compass. It is working in the same line. When she is heeled to port side, this remains horizontal still, but this goes to one side. The blue pole has shifted to the starboard, and because of this, the blue pole will push it to this side. Now, it will attract to this side, the high side. When she goes to this side, the compass still remains like this. The pole becomes like this. साथ में blue pole भी बना दे तो ठीक रहेगा. So in this case, it has shifted to the port of the compass. The blue pole has shifted to the port of the compass. And in this case, it will also shift to high side. So easterly deviation here, in this case, westerly deviation here. But it is not necessarily east and west, it is the high side and low side. When same case, but in southern hemisphere, the compass like this, the rod like this, all working in the same line, no issues. The red pole is on top, the blue pole is here. When again heel to port side, the compass remains like this. The rod becomes at this angle, the red pole here. In this case, the red of this will be repelled by this, and this time it will be on the low side. Deviation will be on the low side. Again, when we are going in this direction or heeling to the starboard, compass will remain same, horizontal, but the poles have shifted to the high side, and in this case, it will cause deviation to the low side. So, deviation to the low side. So in this case, it is westerly deviation. In this case, easterly deviation. Here what we have seen is easterly deviation, and here we have seen blue. Right, excellent. Blue to this side, red to this side. Yes, easterly deviation. And here, what will happen? To westerly deviation. More the heel, more will be the deviation. How come? So we take a case, a given case. The force, let us say permanent or force R. We are talking about force R. When the ship is heeling, let us say to this side, the compass is like this. R has changed in orientation. Remember, it is permanent magnetism, so इसका orientation जहाज के साथ ही change हो रहा है. If it is north hemisphere, so the blue end will be on top. The red of the compass is going to get attracted to this side. So as we have already understood, there will be easterly deviation in this case. This can be understood by the diagram here. The force R is now acting in this direction. This R can be broken down in two components. This is the angle of heel, which is indicated by small I. If we see this, the two components here, this is R, which is the hypotenuse, and this is the right angle triangle. So one component is this, the other component is this. This horizontal component is what is going to cause the deviation, because now it is acting in this direction. As can be seen from here, what is this value? This will be R cos I, and this will be R sin I. Is that okay or not? Please confirm.
Yes, sir.
That means more heel, if it is like this, ज़्यादा heel होएगा, तो this component will increase. कम heel पे ये छोटा होएगा, जैसे ज़्यादा हिलेगी वैसे ये बड़ा होता जाएगा. That means permanent healing error, PHE, is proportional to I. Or rather we should say is proportional to sine of I. Because this is constant, so we can take one to be constant. So PHE is proportional to sine I. We can say this, but when the angle is very small, छोटा angle है, so it can directly be said to be proportional to I directly. Now suppose in this case, when this is blue pole is on top, let us understand what will be the effect or what will be the deviation on various courses. We are talking about permanent healing error. So if she is healing, let us say this course we are doing, the blue pole shifts to this side. When we are going on this course, the blue pole is here. When going this course, the blue pole is here. When going in this course, the blue pole is here. When heading south, blue pole is here. We are keeping it fixed because this is R, which is remaining fixed all the time. Component of the permanent magnetism. Okay, now tell me what kind of deviations are we expecting here? Zero, zero, zero. What are we expecting?
Westerly.
Westerly.
Very good. Westerly and maximum. Because एकदम right angle पे है. Here, what will be? Again, westerly. Here, deviation nil. Correct? Because both are acting in the same line.
Yes, sir.
In this case, is it easterly?
Yes, sir.
Very good. In this case, is it
Maximum
easterly? Maximum, very good. In this case, maximum easterly. In this case, again easterly, because the blue pole and blue pole will interact. This will be pushed to this side, the heading will go to this side. Easterly once again. Here, nil. And in this case, westerly. Are we good? This we are talking about healing error due to R. All right. Now we have already seen that what was the component which was causing deviation in these cases? Healing के समय, what was the component which was causing the deviation? ये आपने नोट कर लिया है एग्जाम में? R sin I. Very good. R sin I. So now we have an H, which is the Earth's horizontal field, and we have R sin I, which is the disturbing force in this case. If I is fixed, if I is fixed, same amount of heel, if on equator, the H will be big and I, R sin I will be this much. But when we go up in the latitude, this angle is remaining same heel angle, R sin I remains same, but the H has reduced because we are going up in the latitude. The value of H becomes less. So what was the deviation in this case? Was this much, but now it is this much. What is the observation? What is your observation?
Sir, increase in latitude. Uh,
H inversely proportional to latitude.
yes, sir.
Exactly. That means deviation is less here.
Yes, sir.
As we are going up in the latitude, the deviation becomes more and more.
More.
More the latitude, more is the deviation for the same amount of angle of heel. Why? Because r sine I remains constant. R is a constant. I, we are taking the same amount of heel, and so r sine I is the constant. But as we go up in the latitude and change the latitude, basically the value of h changes. So अगर और भी नीचे जाएं और भी छोटा कर दें तो deviation इतना हो जाता है. As you can see, this is the deviation. What was like this, when we go near the pole, the deviation will be caused because of this I will increase. So effect of latitude is that the healing error is proportional to the latitude. As the latitude increases, so does the deviation due to healing error or healing error. Are we good?
Yes, sir.
All right. So the other reason for this healing error is induced magnetism. There are certain rods which are athwachip or forward aft of the compass, the vertical one. The vertical rods is what we are talking about. So कल हमने देखा था कि one rod which is responsible for this was K rod. Then we also had E rod. Please check and tell me whether K rod is a vertical rod, E rod is a vertical rod or not. या मैं कुछ गड़बड़ बोल रहा हूं. यस, अच्छा चेक कर रहे हैं.
सर के तो वर्टिकल रॉड है, ई तो हॉरिजॉन्टल दिख रहा है.
हॉरिजॉन्टल है.
सर सी नहीं हो सकता सर.
सी भी है, सी रॉड भी है, वो भी वर्टिकल रॉड है, बट उनका इफेक्ट नॉर्मली बहुत कम होता है. कल मैंने 4 रॉड्स लिखवाए थे आपको विच कैन कॉज इंड्यूस्ड हीलिंग एरर. देयर वर 4 रॉड्स दैट वी हैड टॉक्ड अबाउट. पहला हमने लिखा था कल के जो लास्ट में लिखवाया था, एक था परमानेंट मैग्नेटिज्म, दूसरा था इंड्यूस्ड मैग्नेटिज्म जिसमें के ई सी एंड जी all these rods were there. Please check. So what happens when there is K rod? Again, in the same manner, R तो fixed हो गया, but there is a pillar just below the compass. There is a pillar below the compass. When we are in North Hemisphere, as we have already understood, the top end will become blue pole, and it is going to be when healed. When healed, the compass will be like this. The rod will shift to this side. And so there will be what kind of deviation? Easterly.
ईस्टर्ली.
But this one is magnetized by Z. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
That means this will have no effect when on equator, and as we go up in the latitude, H reduces, Z increases. That means it will have less and less effect towards the equator and more effect towards the higher latitudes. Also, it is dependent on the angle I. So what we can say here in summary, that K rod healing error is proportional to I. जितना होगा उतना error होगी. But it is also proportional to Z. जितना ज्यादा Z होएगा उतना healing error होएगा. Although they are related, but it is also inversely proportional to H. So all these statements are correct.
Yes, sir.
Right. So relationship एक जगह से दूसरे जगह के बीच में हम करते आए हैं. So we can say K rod healing error 2 by K rod healing error 1 is equal to cos comp course 2 by cos comp course 1. इसके आगे जगह कम है, into इसी के आगे into I2 by I1 into Z2 by Z1 into H1 by H2. In the previous diagram, we have already seen healing error, how it is changing. जो अभी हमने देखा था, जो 8 कार्डिनल और इंटर कार्डिनल कोर्सेज जो हमने ड्रॉ किए थे, that was producing semicircular.
Yes, sir.
Remember that
Semicircular. North and southern
semicircular था, यहाँ पे 0 था, यहाँ पे 0 था, यहाँ पे मैक्सिमम क्या था? Was it correct or not? जो अभी
Yes, sir,
डायग्राम बनाया था हमने.
Yes.
That means at 0 0 0 degrees it is 0 at at 0 degree it is maximum, at 90 degree it is 0, 180 degree again maximum, but opposite maximum 270 again 0, and then we come here. So is it changing with the function of cos? Cos 0 is equal to maximum, cos 90 is equal to 0, cos 180 is equal to maximum once again, but reverse maximum, cos 270 is equal to 0. So this is changing as per that. In this case, if we have 0 0 healing errors or 0 healing, the whole thing becomes 0. No K rod healing if there is no heal. If there is some kind of heal, then how much of Z is there? Uska opposite, how much of H is there? So here we have Z2 by ZH. Z by H क्या होगा? Is it tan of dip angle?
Yes, sir. Z 10 dips equal to Z by H.
So exactly. So in place of this, we can also write tan dip 2 by tan dip 1. All right. Beta,
Yes, sir.
the E rod healing error. Now, as you have already told me, it is the horizontal rod. So this is horizontal athwartship soft iron. In a shape, there are rods running all the way. Athwartship may be continuous, may be broken. So when the ship is upright, again let us say north hemisphere. So the top end of this maybe is blue pole, the bottom is the red pole. But when the ship is heeling to one side, this induced magnetism, this side will become blue and this side will become the red. So this is now acquiring some kind of magnetism which is going to affect. Here it was all uniform, here it is no longer uniform. Since we are in north hemisphere, the total force H force is dipping at an angle. No, not this side. So the compass is here. One second, please. All right. The magnetic field direction in this case will become something like this. The compass is here. The vertical through this will be this. The magnetic field created because of this is something like this. And there is the horizontal component also. So this is the component which is causing deviating component. Opposite of this will happen if it is in south hemisphere and same situation. ऐसा हो जाएगा अगर इसी situation में we go to south hemisphere or rather in the north hemisphere, if we go like this, this end will become blue and this end will become red. The situation, the magnetic field will be on the opposite direction. This will be the deviating component. So this will be causing westerly deviation. This will be causing easterly deviation. Of course, we have G rod and C rod also creating this kind of thing, but that is minimal. So we will avoid that. We will not go and discuss all that. What we do is how it is corrected. Basically, not going too into detail, we have the compass binnacle. We have seen that there is forward aft rods. We have seen that we have athwartship rods, and in that there is a bucket. In that bucket, we have slots for putting vertical permanent magnet. This arrangement can be lowered or hoisted. एक पुली होती है, उसको चेन लगा होता है, चेन से हम इसको नीचे या ऊपर कर सकते हैं थोड़ा. So what basically we are doing is that we are creating a vertical field here because of the permanent magnetism. And the disturbing forces which are created because of angle of heel, the effect of them is neutralized because this straight field, since it is with the compass only, so that remains same in opposite direction. There is a predominant field because of this correcting magnet. So जो heel के चलते जो R sin थीटा आती है या C rod K rod के चलते जो डेवलप होता है forces, they are in comparison to this is much less and it does not cause so much of deviation. So we had, remember that HE was because of permanent and we had induced healing error. Both are corrected because with the help of this. Because permanent error तो ठीक है, permanent से हमने कर दिया, लेकिन induced के लिए पहले हमने देखा है कि induced magnetism के लिए हम soft iron रखते थे, या तो फ्लिंडर्स बार रखा या स्फीयर्स रखे. अथवाशिप के लिए स्फीयर्स, फॉरवर्ड आफ्ट के लिए फ्लिंडर्स बार. इफ यू रिमेंबर आईसी और आईबी के लिए हमने उसको स्ल्यू भी किया था फ्लिंडर्स बार को. डी और ई, डी एंड ई को करेक्ट करने के लिए हमने स्फीयर्स को भी स्ल्यू किया था आगे पीछे. So normally we have been using soft iron for correcting induced magnetism, but not here, because if we place it here, it is going to be too bulky, inconvenient, and it may also produce undesirable effect at certain other places. We are not discussing all that. So in nutshell, both of these, the permanent healing error and induced healing error, is all corrected by the permanent vertical magnets. One thing is noteworthy here, that in the binnacle, the bucket, if it is away from the compass, it is away from the compass, and having more number of rods is good thing, rather than having the bucket close to it with a strong magnet. This one is not preferable. One strong magnet close to compass, not preferred. Small magnets, many of them, but away from the compass is the choice because they produce a uniform kind of magnetic field. यहाँ पे ये ऐसा होएगा. So field, because of this permanent magnet which is close to it, strong permanent magnet, the field will be scattering. So we don't want this kind of effect. We want uniform field vertical, and so we have to keep it away from the compass. जितना दूर रखें, जितना नीचे रखें उसके, that's good practice. With this, we say Jai Ho magnetic compass. मैराथन हो गया ना?
हाँ सर, थोड़ा है, पढ़ना पड़ेगा।
बहुत लंबा है। I also got मैं भी ड्रैग करने लगा था लास्ट क्लास में जाकर के. It was becoming too dragging. All right, so few of the things, now that you have developed the smartness towards the magnetic compass, now you know what it is. There will be other kind of questions and answer which you can read and understand what it is talking about. You will be having a clear-cut idea as to what we are being asked, and you will be able to answer. There will be a few things like let us say, what are the preparations for swinging the vessel? Common sense के questions हैं. अब आप पढ़ेंगे उन answers को, you will know what we are talking about. All these things that we have acquired, जो overall insight हमने acquire की है magnetic compass में, वो उन सब के बारे में बहुत easy होएगा. So look through the past papers and of course go through the answers. Try to prepare with the past questions also. Theory wise, we have done quite enough. All right.
Yes sir.
Okay.
All right. So today is अब अगला वीक में मेरे ख्याल से एक क्लास या दो क्लास मिलेगी आपके साथ. तो हम लोग लाइट लेके चलेंगे. जब अगली बैच 15 तारीख को ज्वाइन कर चुकी होगी, then we will start the new topic. तो अगला जो क्लास होएगा most likely that will be self study, because I don't want to start a new topic when other people are not here. तो उनका भी साथ में चलेगा. So be it. We have got 15 minutes. Please remain logged in for